This video is a continuation from the previous. I was very fortunate that my brother lived in Savannah for a while, so I went down there to visit a few times and got some really great shots of the beautiful architecture down there. For those of you that are from Georgia who had to take Georgia history in 8th grade, you know that Savannah was the original capital of Georgia, and Georgia was one of the original 13 colonies. So the architecture in Savannah dates back all the way to the 1700s. Sherman came through Atlanta during the Civil War and burned a trail, burned down quite a bit of Atlanta, all the architecture, the old architecture. Atlanta used to look a lot like Savannah. There's still some architecture left. You can get it all, but most of it is gone. But he got down to Savannah and decided to save it, or spare it, I should say. He didn't save it, he just chose not to trash it. And he left what's still Savannah today. And they do a very good job down there taking care of it. The architecture there is very well preserved. My brother had a construction company doing restoration and renovation work in Savannah, and they have very high standards, and their permit process is very complicated because they want to maintain the style of the architecture. So they have done that. All right, so now I'm going to show you is go through some of the images I took from Savannah, just to give you some tips on architectural photography. So as I've talked before, I didn't shoot the whole building. I zoomed in. And the reason is, you know, if I shot the whole building, you wouldn't be able to see all this really great detail down here, or rather up here, like all this dental molding on this beautiful underside of the roof, and the column capitals, very neoclassical architecture. That was the raw image, and then I processed it. And so you can see the colors a little more balanced in here, or the light's a little more balanced in here. This is just a, zoomed in photo of another house. You see the chandelier. Kind of looks like one of those home for the holidays videos, except this was obviously in the summer. Detail I thought was interesting. Another photo of a house that's, see the corner? The side is not straight front at me. You can see the stairs, you can see the door, you can see inside the building. Makes it a little more interesting when you tilt it like that. I would probably go in and clean this up. Another thing to point out, it was overcast. Sky's white in my photo, and the reflections are also white. If I didn't want blue reflections, that's a good day to shoot. You just want to make sure you crop out the sky if you don't want the white sky in there. I really like this composition a lot. It's very balanced this way and this way, both horizontally and vertically. We've got this beautiful old door with these hand-carved rosettes, and then a sculpture of a cherub, a little angel, I think. And the half's red, this half's white. They're both man-made objects that represent nature, natural-made things. So just kind of irony in that we cut down trees to carve magnolias out of wood to decorate our doors. But this one's permanent. But I just kind of like the irony of the fact that we chose to make something and we made nature. Just playing around with it, I don't like either one of those. It makes the red too overwhelming. And that's how you learn, right? You try. I mean, I'm going to show you guys stuff in this this particular video that's okay. I'm going to show you stuff I did that I don't like. This is kind of interesting because it's just a door. It's a door to a church, and you see the stained glass. And it's just kind of just showing the entrance. It's zoomed in. It's just a part of the structure instead of the whole thing, because I want to see a little bit more detail. I like the colors too. I've got this gold, dark red, dark blue, kind of turquoise blue color scheme going on. And then of course black and white. Now, if I wanted to make this a better shot, I would Photoshop this out, and I would Photoshop those coins on the side of the building out. And then it would keep this much more balanced. These are distracting. They make your eye think that I've cut something off, which I have. But if I clean those up, and you can use the history brush tool to clean those up, just get rid of them, and it would make it a better photo. This one was I like the idea of this one. I don't think it turned out that great. That's the raw one, and then I tried playing around with it, made it worse. The idea was to focus on the flowers, and so that you could see the house in the background as the background. Then my foreground are the flowers. I like to do that with things that have detail, get them in my foreground, show the detail, let them be the focal point and the foreground, and let the architecture be in the background. Sort of this journey from the street to the front door into the building. It just didn't work here at all. It's too low to the ground, so you can't really even see the tops of the flowers. If that flower was bent over more, if it wasn't seeing the underside, it'd be a better shot. That's just a marquee shot of a theater. If you're doing a series of photos of architecture, it's nice to get one of the whole building, but then go zoom in and capture the really cool details that give that building its character. Just some random shots here. Okay, so that one's okay, shows the whole building, but I really like this one better, because now my sign is my focal point. It's also my pop of color, and now I see all this beautiful detail. I really like that one a lot better, and got a prettier sky in this one. Just trying stuff that I don't like. I mean, I like the idea of what I was doing here, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't think it works. I don't think it's balanced. It's like, what am I taking a picture of? Can't see the front door. Just see these dirty underside of the steps. Now this one is three pictures of our three photos of the same building. This is looking straight at it dead on, and it's overexposed because the sun is still too high in the sky to get good contrast on this. And then here I am, I moved around to the side of the building. I think I walked away and I came back, and I got this when the sun had gone down a little bit more. And then that one is just walking up to the side of the building, looking straight up, and you can see this gorgeous railing detail. And all this used to be done by hand. You see the... So it makes it a little more interesting. It's sort of this... What would have been even cooler, what would have made this even better, is if there had been someone inside looking out at me. It would have made it a more interesting story. But if I was just shooting the building to show to shoot the building, this would have been good. None of these are good. All right, let me tell you why this one's not. The composition's great. You got this cool fountain. It's got water. This beautiful cathedral in the background. The problem is this is in the shadow during noon. The sun's too high. It's created. This is a dark green object in shadow, and it blends into the backside of these trees that are in shadow. So all I see is sort of this cropped background image. Not that great. No, no one either. I like this one, even though it needs some work because you can't really see the detail here. I like that you can see the detail of the fence up front and then the house in the back. Okay, so this one, I took this shot and then I looked at it and I said, okay, what's kind of cool about this is I've got contrast between what's in shadow and what's in light, but this is distracting. It needs to be cropped. So I adjusted it, I cropped that out. So now this is very clearly my focus. And then I took out some of the shadow so that it wasn't too high contrast. And so now it's sort of this nice little patio where people sit. I still probably would have climbed a couple of stairs to get at that a little bit more of my subject matter. But it's a little more interesting. You see there's people that live here, and they can sit on their patio, and they can talk to their neighbors, and it sort of tells a story of a neighborhood. Just a shot looking up at the door. It was about to be renovated, so it was kind of dirty. That didn't work at all. It's a dark building on the dark side. What is good about it is the crepe myrtles in the foreground. That makes a great foreground. You see that window right there? That's that window. This building would have been better had I taken the photo at a different time of the day. Okay, so I kind of like the fact that I've got all this great detail. I've got this black lamp and this white statue and this red building. So I processed it to make it all a little bit brighter. And just kind of a nice little detail. I probably would have cropped it further. I guess if I thought about it, I might have cropped this out, crop this down a little bit more. This tree bothers me over here. It offsets the balance. It's trying to steal the thunder from this beautiful lamppost because it's conflicting with it. I'd crop that out. This needs work, but you can see here's most of the front of the house. If you're gonna take a big photo, make sure there's some interesting landscape around. It looks really, it doesn't do the house or the architecture any good if the yard is a mess. There's another one. There was a parking lot here, so I got really close to crop that out so you could see the front of this building. Big difference. And I just HDR'd this one. Just used HDR software to clean it up. Made it a better image. Because now you can see what's on the porch. I like the blue, pink, and yellow of that. It just didn't photograph very well. Okay. And then I want to show you this image that I took. This was taken at night. And I just did a very long exposure so that it doesn't look like it was taken at night. So that's, once you start getting into DSLRs, you can set up a camera, and over time, the more light that the sensor gets on it, the more image it records, the brighter your image gets. And so this was taken at night, and it has something about it that you know it's different than something taken during the day, but it's hard to know what. And it's the lack of shadows. It doesn't have shadows. So this one was taken at night, and just the light from the yard, the street lights, lit it up and allowed me to take this photo that captured it as if it was daylight. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here and continue in the next.